Hi, I'm Michelle Willett, and I'm a graduate student at Morningside College and an early childhood special education teacher at Riverside Early Learning Center in Fort Dodge. My research was comparing full-day and half-day preschool programs and the effects on assessments. With a growing number of preschool programs shifting towards full-day enrollment, there is a need to study the effects full-day programs have on preschool assessments. Past research has indicated conflicting results about full-day programs. Some research indicates that programs have a long-term effect on children at the kindergarten level and above, where other research has found no significant difference between full-day and half-day programs. When I started the research process, my school district just started to pilot a full-day preschool program. Myself and other coworkers had many concerns about the full-day programs if they're developmentally appropriate. We were already having social emotional problems in our school and felt increasing the day may make the issues worse. We also had concerns about all the paperwork that needed to be done in a day, and overall, we didn't know if full day programs were better for children. According to Preschool Curriculum Evaluation Research Consortium, school readiness is a crucial component for children to be successful in school. They also stated that research showed early childhood programs have had a positive effect on students' language and literacy skills when entering kindergarten. Keyes, Frock, Bushnell, Duncan, Vandell, Key, Reswick, and Howell studied. They examined the effects high-quality preschool programs had on children who were considered to have low cognitive levels. The results from their study suggested that there were no evidence showing a connection between preschool quality and school readiness. However, math and social skills results showed that children with low cognitive abilities who attended a quality preschool program made significant gains in school readiness skills. And again, findings from the study found little to no evidence for the quality of preschool programs had any effect on problem behaviors. Additional research conducted by Fisher, Peterson, Bada, and Colton studied the effects early programs had on kindergarten readiness based on 2 assessments. The results from their study indicated achievement scores improved for all children who started this study in the 50th percentile or below. The results also showed that children who attended 1 year preschool compared to no preschool gained a 0.9 on their standard score on the Peabody Picture Vocabulary Test and a 2.5 gain on the Woodcock-Johnson assessment. Literature Harry, Matals, and Thompson researched the impact of full-day and half-day preschool programs. The purpose of their study was to measure linguistic, academic, social-emotional, and psychomotor development between full-day and half-day programs. Their results found that children benefited from preschool programs with the Peabody Picture Vocabulary Test showed an average of 25% improvement in both classes. However, full-day programs scored higher compared to half-day programs. Valenti and Tracy also did a study and found that students who received a preschool education had higher achievement scores, declined rates of repeating grades, and fewer children required an IEP. They investigated the effects preschool programs had on first grade reading achievement, and the results of the development reading assessment concluded that in September, students had the same scores, but however, when they were attested again in January, students who attended full-day programs scored higher than children who did not attend a preschool program at all. And Swinhart, Reynolds, Richardson, Hiwaska, Lees, Warner, Richards, England, and Sullivan, they all researched the effect full-day and half-day programs had on school readiness. Their findings from the study found that full-day programs scored higher in 4 out of the 6 domains, which included language, math, social, emotional, and physical health. In addition, Waxhorse found that full-day programs had a higher average of attendance compared to half-day programs. In contrast, a study conducted by Lau and Wynn examined full-day and half-day programs and the effects the programs had on academics and social development at the end of kindergarten. The measures they used was the Peabody Picture Vocabulary Test and the Woodcock-Johnson Achievement Test. Based on their results, there were no significant differences in full-day and half-day programs. Milligan also did a study where he followed participants from preschool to 2nd grade. His purpose was to investigate if full-day and preschool programs would have a lasting effect on increasing student achievement in later grades, and his results found no significant academic differences in children who attended full-day versus half-day. The theoretical framework used for this study was the cognitive theory and the social cultural theory. The cognitive theory indicated that children's education need to be based on child's cognitive readiness. Teaching and learning should be taught through discovery learning. Learning should be taught centered around experiences and active learning. Children cannot be taught problem-solving skills through teacher-directed instruction. The social cultural theory suggests that child development is based on environmental and social interactions. The social cultural theory comes from Vygotsky. Another element of the social cultural theory was the zone of proximal development. The gap of research is there's no current research that has indicated the effects full day and half day programs have had on preschool assessments at the entry and mid-year point of preschool. The purpose of this study was to compare the independent variables of full day and half day preschool programs and the effects they had on the dependent variable preschool assessments. The measurements used in this study was teaching strategies goal assessment, which suggests letter knowledge, letter sound knowledge, rhyming, and number identification. And I also used the individual development growth indicators, also known as IGDs, which address sound knowledge and rhyming. The hypothesis was that full day programs would score higher than half day programs on the preschool assessment. Possible impact: the results of this study can be used to help districts make appropriate decisions on what type of program to implement. It also helps ease preschool teachers' minds when determining what type of program is developmentally appropriate for children, and the information provided can help parents determine which program to enroll their children in. The design used was a quasi-experimental pre-test, post-test design with non-equivalent control groups. I was not able to control the groups of children used in the study or how many children were in each class. Participants in the study attended public preschool programs in North Central Iowa. Participants in the study came from 4 preschool classrooms, 2 full day and 2 half day. Full day classrooms attended school for 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. Half day programs attended school for 2 hours and 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Each classroom had 12 to 16 4-year-old students with a variety of ethnic backgrounds. Participants in this study were randomly selected and were not given any incentives. 1 half day and 1 full day classroom received an intervention, so I will refer to them as intervention or no intervention throughout this presentation. Full day programs consisted of 11 to 12 4-year-old general education peers and 3 to 4 students with special needs with an age range of 3 to 5 years old. Children in the ages of 3 were not included in this study. Half day programs include 12 to 16 4-year-old general education students. Materials used for the pre-test and post-test teaching strategies gold included letter and number flashcards and a rhyming assessment. Pre-test and post-test IGDs assessment materials included fall and winter letter, sound, and rhyming assessment booklets and a computer. The intervention handwriting without tears was used, and the materials used were blue mats, wood pieces, chalkboards, chalk, sponges, Roll-A-Dough, and Magnadoodles, and handwriting without tears workbooks. The research study began the beginning of 2017 to 2018. The study continued for 6 weeks. A pre-test and post-test was given for the teaching strategies gold and was given one at a time, and it took about a week to assess all the kids. And then the IGDs pre-test and post-test was given all at once, and it took about 2 weeks to administer the assessment to the entire class. The intervention, 2 classrooms, 1 full day and 1 half day, taught math and literacy skills daily during calendar and small group instruction. Both classrooms taught alphabet knowledge using creative curriculum without the curriculum handwriting without tears, and the handwriting without tears curriculum was used daily Monday through Friday. The data analysis, teaching strategies gold, and IGDs assessment were used to measure the preschool assessment using a pre-test and post-test. A multivariate analysis of variance, also known as a MANOVA, were used to determine the statistical significance between full day and half day programs, mean scores. Ordinal scales was also used for IGDs data. The classes were divided into categories like students who were proficient, at risk, and below proficiency. Any student who was above the cut score was proficient, at the cut score was at risk, and below was considered below proficiency. Percentages of how many participants were proficient and at risk and below proficiency were compared. Findings from the Teaching Strategies Gold and IGDIS assessment did not support the hypothesis that full-day programs would score higher than half-day programs on preschool assessments. Results from these assessments indicate no group differences between full-day and half-day programs. However, results did show a significant difference for groups on rhyming on the Teaching Strategies Gold rhyming assessment. IGDIS data, rhyming post-test scores showed no clear differences, with full day who received the intervention had the highest with 46% of students proficient, and full day that did not receive the intervention had the lowest percentage of students proficient with 38. Findings from the IGDIS letter identification post-test showed no clear differences, with full day classroom that received the intervention scored the highest with 36%, and full day that did not receive the intervention scored the lowest with 15% of students proficient. The hypothesis was not confirmed. The table above represents the mean and standard deviation of post-test teaching strategies scores for all of the classes who participated in the study. This table shows the percentage of students proficient on the IGDIS post-test assessment. Table 3 shows pre-test and post-test scores of each classroom. On the majority of the assessments, the full-day classroom that received the intervention scored the highest or second highest, and the full-day class that did not receive the intervention scored the lowest. Although there was no significant differences between the groups, the results did show that all preschool classrooms made substantial improvements between pre-test and post-test scores. Figure 1 shows full-day and half-day programs post-test Teaching Strategies Gold mean scores and standard deviation. Figure 2 shows full-day and half-day IGDIS post-test rhyming assessment percentages. Figure 3 shows full-day and half-day IGDIS post-test letter assessment percentages. Advantages of full-day programs would include that students spend most of their day in structured school time, children receive more teacher instruction, and the length of the day prepares students for full-day kindergarten. Some advantages of half-day programs, they promote higher social emotional progress because students are not expected to follow directions and engage in academic activities all day long. Results of this study provides evidence to educators the importance of preschool programs had on school readiness. All the preschool programs included in this study made significant post-test gains in all areas tested, which increases school readiness skills. In addition, the study indicated teachers should use research-based curriculum and teaching strategies. Results of the study indicated the amount of time attending a preschool program made no difference in the academic success. However, the type of curriculum and teaching strategies used had an effect on academic performance. Both classrooms that received the intervention scored the top 2 in each assessment given. Lastly, social emotional development may be a critical factor in determining which program is more effective for children. The study aligned with Harry, Matals, and Thompson, which stated children who attended full-day programs demonstrated a higher vocabulary, but when they looked at their teachers' surveys, full-day programs did adjust to academic life quicker compared to children who participated in half-day programs. However, children who were in full-day programs were less attentive and were more hyperactive when compared to children who attended half-day. And the research indicated that students who attended half-day programs had overall higher social emotional development compared to full-day classrooms. Limitations included the difference in the variety of children in each classroom. Full-day programs had fewer students than half-day programs because full-day programs had children with individual education with IEPs and 3-year-old students in their classroom. Full-day programs had more students who came from low-income households compared to half-day programs. Another limitation included the fact that 4 teachers were used in the study because the researcher had her own classroom responsibilities and could not teach the variables. With different teachers teaching, everyone has different teaching and behavior management strategies that could not be controlled in the study. External influence include parent involvement, which could influence post-test scores. The different classrooms used in the study had different learning materials. Student behaviors may affect the outcome of the results. Full-day programs had students with cognitive and behavior IEPs, where half-day students did not. The present study only compared pre-test and post-test scores, which took place during the fall and winter. At the beginning of the school year, preschool students spend most of their day learning about rules and expectations. It is suggested that future research compare full-day and half-day programs for an entire year. Suggestions for future research would be that both full-day and half-day programs include the same number of students of the same age and would participate in both conditions. Future research would include that same teacher would teach both conditions to ensure the reliability of the study. In conclusion, results from the study show no significant differences between students who attended full day or half day programs. The type of preschool program, full day or half day, does not affect outcomes of preschool assessments. Results from the study did not support the hypothesis that full day programs would score higher than half day programs. Additional research is needed to confirm which program is better for children. And here are my references.